The whole intro is ruined. I even came in and sat down and everything. Hey, Epic fam. So, in this live stream, we're going to be going over all the locations that I've been to the past few years. And it's not that many locations. It's not that many. I've been to a lot of locations multiple times. So, even though I'm on the road a lot of times it's like collabing with people at a location I've already been to, or just reinvestigating places that are fairly active or incredibly active. Thankfully, recently, on this last trip, I got to go to a bunch of locations I hadn't been to before. When I say a bunch, I mean 3. Got to go to 3 new locations, and 2 of them really aren't even technically locations. Only one of them was a, like, for real deal location. But nonetheless, still got good evidence everywhere we went. So that's pretty cool. What's up, Suyu? Suyu in the building. Michelle S. John G. Kim White. What's up, Kim? Thank you for being here, Kim. Joey Vitality. Truth Paranormal. Dale Bailey. What's good, y'all? And to the Patreon members watching tonight's Patreon, I think we're going to do... We got a couple of options for tonight's Patreon. But I kind of want to do some digital tarot readings. And then I can give you my vibe on what I believe that the tarot reading is trying to convey for you. And there's also a whole bunch of HD footage from an investigation Alex and me done did that hasn't been out yet. So we might go over some of that too. Basically, we're going to have some fun on this stream here, going over all the locations, and on the Patreon tonight. But I'm also going to put this list of locations in the description of the video. I wonder if I can do that now. Again, so it's a total of like 40 locations. And these are locations that, for the most part, you can go and investigate. Like, you can acquire permission and you can rent out the building for the night and investigate. However, a handful of them have closed. Some of them are personal, like this, that you can't go to. And some of them I don't have the name for. And but most of them you can actually rent out the location and investigate it. And so here, I'll go ahead and put this in the description here. But yeah, so I've been on this channel now for like 3 years, going on 4 years, so 3.5 years, and I've only been to 40 locations. It was very disheartening, but it's not including any cemeteries, friends' houses, like private residences, and office buildings, like different people's places of employment. They'll ask me to investigate where they work, like after hours and stuff, and so I don't have those included on here, which that's been a lot of my locations. So, well, not bad. A lot of cemeteries I don't have on here. Tabitha Powell on the Patreon. What's good? So Tabitha, tonight you get a tarot reading if you want one. A free digital tarot reading. We're using a digital tarot reading and then a live person, aka me, to try to make sense of it. So it should be fun. Tabitha, it should be fun tonight. Plus, we're going to be going over some footage with Alex and me. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we'll just investigate. Who knows? We're going to be having fun. But for right now, let's get into this list of locations. This awful, awful list of locations. What should I do with this stuff? Just bring it down there. Okay, so here's the earth. So here, we'll just peep this list. Okay. Alright. So as you can see, there's a list of locations. Oh, there's OBS all up in the way. What's up, OBS? Let's start off with the obvious one, Poasttown Elementary. So Poasttown Elementary School is in Middletown, Ohio. And Poasttown is where I've had some of the craziest evidence I've ever captured. That's where actually I've met a lot of you guys, either through Poasttown events or through my live streams. I've met you. That, like, your first encounter with me was during a Poasttown live stream. And so that's how we met. And Poasttown is just absolutely amazing. Some of my best visual, audio, poltergeist activity, all of it, some of the best activity of all types I've captured at Poasttown Elementary. And I'm hoping to be back in Poasttown by May at the latest. Hopefully it will be safe at that point. I'm sure it will be. I'm sure it will be. It's got to be. It's got to be. Please, Lord. Please. All right. So Poasttown Elementary. Guys, I would love to show some footage of these locations, but every time I show my own footage on these live streams, YouTube has been taking it down. And I don't know if that's because I'm live streaming my video from YouTube or what the deal is. They used to not do that. It's like it's my content. It's like my own stuff, like totally my own stuff. But they've been taking it down. So here, let's just go through the list, and then we'll start going over some different footage. I've got footage from like every location on the YouTube channel except for maybe one or two of them. But yeah, so Poasttown Elementary, I have the most footage of that for sure. And then Benton Farmhouse, I've investigated that place a lot. Now, Benton Farmhouse is interesting. It's also, Benton Farmhouse is the location from the documentary I'm in called The Evil of Nowhere. So it's an Amazon Prime documentary. It was put together by friends of mine, and they did a fantastic job. And they actually invited me out to investigate during their second night at Benton Farmhouse. And it was awesome. I didn't expect to be in the film, too. So when I saw that, I was like, whoa, it's pretty cool. Like, I'm in the interview portion, but I'm also in the investigation portion, which is a surprise. But very pleased. I love the way they did it. I love how it turned out. Benton Farmhouse. I also have probably the second most live streams from any location I have on my channel is Benton Farmhouse, because I've gone there a whole bunch. And it's weird because when I first started going to the farmhouse, it was super intense. It was like super crazy intense. And the last few years, it's been a little bit more hit or miss. And I guess it depends on the night and what's going down. One of the last times I went, it was like negative 10 degrees. It was so cold, and that might have had something to do with it. But it's weird. It's like sometimes it's like the most intense investigation of your life, and then other times it's like pretty chill. So, but when I first started going there, though, I would go there solo. I'd be at the Benton Farmhouse completely solo. It's a massive farmhouse in Walton, Kentucky. And it was terrifying to be in that place solo. And I think on any night it's terrifying to be in there solo. But some nights more than others, you can feel them all over you. And then obviously the next one, the haunted basement. So these are probably the three that you see the most on this channel is Poasttown, Benton Farmhouse, and the haunted basement. And those are the three closest and the three that I'm closest with. Like as far as like the people running them, I'm really close with the people. And well, the basement obviously is like right here, so that helps. And then Rohs Opera House is also pretty close. Rohs Opera House also in Kentucky, Cynthiana, Kentucky. I've had some good nights there, and then I've had the last like 3 or 4 times I've went, it's been almost dead, like almost just like completely dead. But the first few times I went, it was like super popping. It was popping off like crazy. Rohs Opera House is pretty cool. Jailhouse Pizza. I don't have any footage from the investigation I've done on this channel. I definitely need to get some footage I actually have a bunch of footage on my old hard drive that's linked to my old computer, which I need to get that going because there's a bunch of investigations that have never made it to the channel. And there's some locations that aren't even on this list that haven't made it to the channel either, but that have HD footage and whatnot. Yeah, oh my goodness, Joey Vitality. No joke. All right, so first time I met Eric was at the farmhouse. It was crazy. Joe and me, the first night it was just Joe and me, and we had a crazy investigation, a lot of good evidence. And then the next night was even crazier. It was even crazier. So, Joe, I remember that. That was a crazy just weekend for me. And then even my daytime investigations were really intense there, just on the property. So at the Benton Farmhouse, the land itself is active, and we've gotten tons of evidence on just the land itself on the property. But hey, actually, I would love suggestions of locations. I'm seeing some people mention some stuff. Hold up. Someone mentioned, look at Princess Mel, my princess. Hey, princess. Princess Mel says Bobby Mackey's. Princess Mel, anything for you. I will go to Bobby Mackey's. I shall do so immediately. Oh, and then, okay, so Tammy was saying, hey to Hinsdale girl, but that reminds me, Michelle Hinsdale girl, I need to go to the Hinsdale house. I definitely need to do that. So let me make a list here. Bobby Mackey's, Hinsdale house. I still haven't properly investigated Waverly. I went there once as a teenager and just did a brief tour and went through the death tunnel, and that was it. But when I was going through the death tunnel as a teenager, I remember thinking, oh crap, ghosts are real. Like, I could just feel it. It was like the first time I'd been that close to that much energy before. I had to be like 15 years old. It was freaky. That death tunnel, I was like, oh no, like there is actually something here. Hinsdale girl, you want me to go to the Goatman's Bridge in Texas? Hinsdale girl, Michelle, are you kidding me? With how freaking sensitive I am to the freaking energy? Alright, fine. Alright, Michelle, since you asked, I'll go to Goatman's Bridge. Because you told me to. Goatman's Bridge. I would have to go in the winter. I cannot stand bugs. There's a bunch of snakes. Like, I'm an extremely high maintenance paranormal investigator. I could not be out there in that wilderness unless Alex was with me. If Alex was with me, then I could probably handle it. Goatman's Bridge. Yeah, Richie, that's right, Richie. I've got to get back out on the road. When things calm down a bit, I gotta get a crew together and just hit the road. That's what I gotta do. So Bobby Mackey's, Hinsdale House, Waverly Hills, Goatman's Bridge. Also, like, I still haven't been to the UK. I'm ashamed of myself. I am ashamed. But yeah, if anyone watching thinks of any more locations, feel free to put them in the chat, and I will. Oh, wait. Lori P said Thomas House Hotel in Tennessee. I've heard of the Thomas House. I know they do events there, I think. In Tennessee. Denise X, oh, are your cat and dog all right? Is the kitty and the puppy okay? Jeez. Denise, I'm sorry to hear about the fight. I used to live in a house with cats and dogs, and I know how intense those fights get. It's scary. Matt Godek, the Go Man! The Go Man says Eastern State Penitentiary. Eastern State Pen. Absolutely, I would love to check that out. Alright, let's get back to this list. So far, we're here. And then back in the day, I used to go to Trans-Allegheny a lot. I've been there 3 times, which is a lot for me. But Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum is the largest stone structure in North America. And it's the second largest stone structure in the entire world. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. It is so awesome. Like, and here's the thing, it's so big that the spirits and the energy can be pretty spread out, but it's so interesting while you're walking through, and it's like a movie. It's like a freaking movie being in there. So even if you're not getting crazy activity right at the moment, there's still so much interesting stuff all around you. I've been 3 times, and I still haven't covered every square foot of that place. I've been 3 times now, and still haven't had enough time to go over all of it. Haunted by Haunted says West Virginia Penitentiary in Moundsville. I thought they called it Moundsville Penitentiary. Or maybe it's both. Penitentiary, Moundsville. So Haunted by Haunted, I haven't been there yet. I met some people who worked there while I was doing Mothman Fest with Alex. We met some people that worked there. Richie, you said Bobby Mackey's? Yeah, we got Bobby Mackey's on the list of where I need to go. Absolutely. And I got to build a new gateway device because I have an idea for a gateway device for Bobby Mackey's specifically. It's actually one that I've done before, but just slightly tweaked, slightly different. Carl Baker says the Knickerbocker Hotel, Detroit 6th Precinct. So, Carl, that does sound awesome. Is it a location that allows paranormal investigations? Because that's what I'm basing this on. Because they're so hard to find. You would think that, like, if you had a location, and one of the main sources of revenue was allowing people to rent it out, you would think you would advertise heavily. But it's so hard. Like, you'll type in, like, Detroit haunted location, and there's just a bunch of articles about places that might be haunted that you can't go investigate legally. And then, so you type in Detroit Paranormal Investigation or Private Paranormal Investigation, and still nothing. It's like, and I don't. There's no blame here. It's just a lot of people don't know about search engine optimization. So you have to know someone who knows the locations. Like, you have to really know someone who's been there or works there, something like that. All right, let's get back to the list. So where were we? Trans-Allegheny is amazing. Thorn Haven Manor. So guys, if you've been to any of these locations, feel free to throw them in the chat. Or just say, like, yeah, I've been there. I've been to Thorn Haven. But Thorn Haven Manor, I've only been there one time. Out of all these, so I've been to Jailhouse Pizza once, and I've been to Thorn Haven Manor once. The rest I've been to multiple times so far. But Thorn Haven Manor, one time, life-changing. I really want to get like a hypnotist therapist, and have them go through, like, hypnotize me and have me put back in that moment, in that Thornhaven investigation, and walk me through it. And I want to videotape it so that way I can talk about it, like, as everything's happening in real time. Because so much happened that night. A bunch of stuff happened that we haven't processed fully, Alex and me, and it was one of the craziest investigations of my life. Thornhaven Manor. But here's the thing. What happened to Alex and me was very unusual for that location. We got some fire in the chat. Hold up. We got a fire alert here. It's my girl, Kess. Kesslet waves like a crazy mad person to my epic fam. Popping by for a few minutes before going to sleep as another day of work tomorrow. Take care and stay safe. Kesslet. So every time now when I hear Kesslet's name, Kesslet, I always think of when they said it through the gateway. Like the past few weeks, they've said Kess's name through the gateway a bunch, which is pretty cool. But not as cool as Kess herself. Kess, you are absolutely amazing. Thank you for throwing it down. Thank you for lighting up the chat. Do we have no mods in here? There's not a single moderator in the building? That's crazy. Oh, John G's in the building. Yeah, I guess everyone was expecting me to be late. It is... What is today? Am I supposed to be streaming today? Yeah, it's Wednesday. So I wouldn't be starting until normally around right now. I guess that's why. I guess that's why. Guys, Kesslet is amazing. Kess, thank you for being amazing. And Kess has actually been, like, on a lot of the live streams that these locations are from. So Thornhaven Manor, absolutely crazy. It's in Indiana. It's wild. It's freaking wild. Next, Hales Bar Dam. So I've been to Hales Bar three or four times. And then I have the cabins. I have this as one location because you can choose to stay in the cabins that are just like up the hill from Hales Bar Dam. And so I combined those. So I've done the cabins twice, and I've investigated Hales Bar like 3 or 4 times. And nothing's going to beat the very first time I went to Hales Bar. It was in the cold snap of like 2017 or something. And, or no, 2018. It was in 2018. So 2 years ago. My goodness. And it was Alex and me. It was our first collab, our first official collab. We had investigated Poasttown together before this, but the Hales Bar Dam thing was our first official collaboration together. And that night was just so insanely active, and we got so lucky. So I set up the antenna, and I just happened to set it up just right to where we got literally the bare minimum of reception for LTE signal. We literally had the last decibel that you can have before it goes into out of service or out of range. We had that last decimal and decibel, and we had 100 feet of cable. I had like 3 different coax cables running from the antenna to, and a bunch of adapters to my Wi-Fi hotspot. And it was enough to get us into the tunnel, into the center portion of the tunnel. And we were the first team to live stream from inside of Hales Bar Dam, which is pretty cool. Now, people have live streamed outside of Hales Bar Dam using the Wi-Fi, but we were the first team to live stream from deep in the tunnel inside Hales Bar Dam. And yeah, Joey Vitality says Creepy Cabin 7. So the second or third time I was there, it was for an event, and we rented a cabin, and they gave us cabin number 7, which was ridiculous. I think it was Joe, Alex, and me, and we were in cabin 7 together. And we were so tired, but we still freaking investigated. I think we went out to eat and then investigated. I don't think I live streamed that. I think that was all... I think the only footage of that that's aired so far is on Joe's channel. But yeah, so Hales Bar Dam, great location. A lot of good evidence. The cabins are also fun. A lot of good evidence. The first time I went, I did a vlog. So there's a vlog from the first time Alex and me were there. Pretty cool. And then Lowe Hotel. All right, next location, the Lowe Hotel. So this location, I never got permission to investigate the whole thing, but I've investigated the second floor. I think it's the second floor, second or third floor. And I've also investigated the... Oh, weather sirens. Alright guys, give me a second. The weather sirens are going off. Are the warning bells? Tornado watch. Oh, we got a tornado watch until 2 a.m. Richie, my Monster Energy vlog. Which one? Which one's that? Oh, my first one. That's my first vlog. Yep. So I'm under a tornado watch. Wow. It's a 6-hour tornado watch. That seems kind of long. Okay, cool. Good to know. Good information to know. Anyways, Lowe Hotel. So the Lowe Hotel, we've gotten some great evidence at the Lowe Hotel. The very first time I was there, some hooligans broke in to the hotel, and they were running up and down the halls, causing a ruckus. And to my knowledge, I was the only person staying in the entire hotel that night. Besides the people who live there. It was like literally in the middle of winter where they have nothing going on, no events, no Mothman Fest or anything. Yeah, Lowe Hotel's in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, by the way. Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And so I'm staying there. I'm like in the entire hotel by myself. And then all of a sudden I start hearing people running around. And I'm like, what the heck? And at one point, these hooligans opened my hotel room door, and they like opened it just a little bit, and I thought it was locked. I thought I had the door, but apparently you can just open it on up anyways. It doesn't matter if it's locked or not. And so it opens up, and I hear running. They run on down the hall, and so I look and I don't see anybody. So I close the door. I try and lock it again, and then like 10 minutes later, I hear knocking. There's someone knocks on my door, and so I open it, and it's these 2 teenage girls, and they're like, hi, are you staying at the hotel tonight? And I'm like, what are you all doing here? And they're like, we're just exploring the hotel. We were wanting to go upstairs. Will you go upstairs with us? And I was like, no, I won't go upstairs with you. And they were like, are you in the middle of something? Are you doing something? And I was like, yes, I am. And so they left. I closed the door and started live streaming. I was live streaming the whole thing. The whole thing's on the live stream. And so eventually I hear the desk lady start hollering for him. And so she finds him and she rounds him up and takes him out. And then the next day I talked to her about it, and I was like, were those kids staying here? And she was like, no, they said they were with you. So those freaking girls tried to say that they were with me. They were trying to blame me for their hooliganness. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't freaking believe it. That's the same night that we started a pizza fund. Someone in the chat was like, Eric, you should get pizza. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. And then so everyone started throwing down for some pizza. So there was a Domino's like across like 2 streets over. So I took the live stream and we walked together and got the Domino's pizza and walked back. That was a I think it was a Friday the 13th stream on Halloween. It was Halloween. It was Halloween weekend, 2017, 2018. But the Lowe Hotel. You never know what's going to happen at the Lowe Hotel. The last time I was there, maybe it was the second to last time. Yeah, because last Mothman Fest we didn't stay there. But the time before last we did. Alex and me did. And we got to investigate that. It was the second floor. We were sneaking around trying to be all quiet because during Mothman Fest, the Lowe Hotel, like every room is booked. Every single room in the entire hotel is booked during Mothman Fest. So we're like sneaking around as quiet as can be, like 2, 3 in the morning. You know, Alex has got to be up all early and stuff. Man, we've had some adventures. Some absolute adventures. I'm surprised. So, Alex and me still think, so at the Lowe Hotel, those teenagers broke in while I was investigating. And then at Hales Bar Dam, the first time Alex and me were there, we still somewhat kind of think that maybe a guy and a girl broke in while we were investigating. Because you can clearly hear on the footage, you can hear a guy and a girl talking and running up the steps, like running up and down those metal steps. And so we still think someone might have broke in. But have any of you all had someone break into a location while you're investigating? Because it'd be so hard to tell, like, if it's a person or not. And Alex and me, we were investigating in super cold weather. It was like, it had to be like 13 degrees. It was super cold. So it would be illogical to think that someone would break in that cold of weather. But it was so clear, though, and we captured it so clear, so we don't know. Hinsdale girl, you've had someone break in while investigating? That's freaky. It's freaky. It's super. At Poasttown, I think it happens all the time at Poasttown. Because, like, of course, like, hooligans, those young hooligans will break into Poasttown from time to time, and Daryl will put the fear of God in them. And I always wonder while I'm investigating Poasttown if someone has broken in or not. But Daryl has like high-def cameras around every single entrance and exit, all over the building. Oh wow, it's hailing. It's hailing where Joey Vitality is. Alright, back to the list. Back to the list. Lowe Hotel, and then if you go to the Lowe Hotel, you're most likely going to hit up the TNT bunkers. This is where one of the first Mothman sightings occurred, and a lot of people looked at it as Mothman's base. Now, if our friend Mothman Historian was here, he could correct me on all that. I'm sure I'm off a little bit, but that's just what I've gathered. And we've investigated a lot, but the best thing I think that's happened, well, that Ouija board session with Mothman Historian and Alex was pretty cool. But when Alex encountered that duck, he went and encountered a duck back not the last time, but the time before last we were there. And then the next night, the duck was still there hanging out with everyone. It was like a freaking tailgate party when we went. There were so many people out there. Oh, it was crazy. I wonder, how did he live stream? How did he live stream from the TNT area? And guys, can you hear me okay? I turned the microphone down a little bit. I wonder how he live streamed. I know, was it on Facebook? The live stream kept breaking up when he went there. I can turn the output game. So on the last live stream I did with this mic, I had it clipping a little bit. And that was my fault. That was my fault, family. Alright, I turned it up a hair. Maybe that'll be a little bit better. I do have it kind of far away from me. It says there's a lot of noise in the signal. Now it's too loud. Alright, I'll turn it back down. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, you can never... So, with audio, don't ever trust the visual representations you get. You always got to trust your ears. It was distorting? Jeez. That's so weird. I wonder why it was distorting. Anyways, alright, I turned it back down. Is it better? Yep, I should have learned my lesson. Just don't mess with stuff. Just don't mess with stuff. Alright, back to the list. TNT bunkers. So, That's a Mothman-linked location. It's next to the Lowe Hotel. Both of these are in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. The next location, the Gill House in Ohio. The Gill House, it was one of those few locations where I only did one live stream, and that's like it. So I always forget about investigating there. And, man, you know what? I want to pull up. Let's wait. So here, we'll pull up the Gill House footage first when we start looking at footage of this stuff. Gill House, it's in northern Ohio. It's a big old house, and it was a lot of fun to investigate. The basement's creepy. The attic is super creepy, and the attic was super hot. I was sweating bullets. James 745 Riddle. I see you, James. Tammy, what's up, Tammy? Arden Paranormal. Arden Paranormal, what's good, Arden? Thank you for being here. Carl Baker, my man. Carl in the building. All right, guys, so now we're going to the new stuff. So Gill House, we'll come back to that with some footage. Old William Penn Hotel. That's the hotel in Pittsburgh. Guys, I had a terrible time in Pittsburgh. I really did. But that hotel is the fanciest, schmanciest place that you'll ever go to, ever, if you're me. I might go to fancier, but that was, Old William Penn Hotel was one of the fanciest places I've ever been. And I spent way too much money getting a fancy suite. I got one of the suites. And from the way they had it in the pictures, it looked like it was a 2-level suite. And I've never been at a hotel that has a hotel room that has 2 levels. And that's what I wanted. But it didn't have 2 levels. It was some gimmicky photo crap. And I've been to hotels that have 2 rooms, and I love that. I love the 2 rooms, ones with like little kitchens and whatnot. I love that. But yeah, so Old William Penn Hotel in Pittsburgh. You can't really investigate the entire place. You can get a room, though, and then investigate as much as you can. The next location, though, the Conjuring House. This place was lit. The Conjuring House in Rhode Island. Online, it's called The Real Conjuring House. And it did not disappoint. It did not disappoint. I went in with low expectations because of like the moon phase and weather patterns, and just in general, I just went in with low expectations, not knowing what to expect. And my goodness, it was way more active than we could have hoped for, which is good, which is really good. It's the location that we're filming, that we did the documentary on, the collaboration documentary project. And I would highly recommend going up there and checking it out. Also, I got to hang out with my buddy John Huntington. That's right. And they even said his name on the Void Ripper. They said Huntington, like crystal clear. So the Conjuring House, definitely a good location. I am worried that they're going to, that with all these investigators coming through, I really feel like it's going to wake something up, something that everyone's probably not prepared for. And I'm like 100% sure that's what's going to happen. Because all the EVPs I got were demonic. It's demonic. Demonic, demonic, demonic. I got like 100 EVPs saying it's demonic. And you can tell, like, when you look out in the woods. What was that? It sounded like something just hit my back door. Well, Joey Vitality, he did a drone shot of the woods surrounding the area, and the vibe was freaky. It reminded me of the Suicide Force in Japan. I'm gonna check something real quick. But yeah, the Real Conjuring House is no joke. I would suggest, like, if you're out that way, I would suggest checking it out. Because it's ultra lit. And that's just the truth of it. Okay. I was just checking the audio. I was just overly curious. I had to hear it. I had to hear it for myself. Oh, there goes the girls. They're barking away. So the Real Conjuring House, definitely a lit location. Next. So there's a series of stuff in Indiana owned by the same people. And they're all great locations. The Hartford County Jail. I've had some good investigations there. The very first time I went was the best one. It was absolutely popping off. And then 7 7 came through and burned the number 7 on the back of my neck during the live stream. I was taking a break. So like I was investigating. It got real intense. I went downstairs to the kitchen and took a break. I left the gateway going. And then 7 starts coming through the gateway. And all of a sudden I feel just burning on my neck. Just absolute burning. And so I turn around and lift my hair up and put my neck to the camera. And you see a 7 burned right onto my neck. And then by the time I got home, when I got home that morning, the whole back of my neck was just red. You couldn't see the 7 anymore. Just everything was red. But while I was there, it burned, like 7 came through the gateway and then burned the number 7 onto my neck. It was ridiculous. But yeah, that happened at the old Hartford County Jail. Or maybe just the Hartford County Jail. They also called it the Blackford County Jail. I'm not sure exactly what the correct name is. But so, and right, literally, you could throw a rock from the Hartford County Jail and hit the Monroe House. And you could also throw a rock from the Hartford County Jail and hit the Ervin Campbell Speakeasy. So all 3 of these locations are literally within a block of each other. They're like on the same little area, same little strip. And so the Ervin Campbell Speakeasy, that was a lot of fun. That was absolutely a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun investigating the Speakeasy. It's really big. It's got super tall ceilings. I don't know what they're doing with it now or if it's changed any because it was years since I've been there. But then the Monroe House. The Monroe House. My goodness gracious. I remember the very first time I investigated the Hartford County Jail, I didn't know about the Monroe House yet. I had no idea about it. So I was sitting on the steps of the Hartford County Jail. It was like 7 or 8 in the morning. I had barely gotten any sleep. I tried to sleep on the couch in the jail. And I decided, I was like, I can't take it. I got to go. And so I sat on the front porch for a while trying to decide if I'm going to try and drive 4.5 hours on low sleep. And as I'm sitting there, I just was staring at the Monroe House. And keep in mind, I had no idea what house it was. I just kept staring at it while I was thinking. And I was like, I wonder what that house is. Like, I just kept staring at it. And then eventually I decided to leave. But the next time I came back, that's when I realized, I was like, oh crap, they're right next to each other. But yeah, so all 3 of these locations are all right next to each other. Michelle Hinsdale, girl, hold up. Check your messenger. Love you, Epic Fam. Michelle, look at this. Look at all the fire in the chat. Look at Tim Litfield lighting it up. Michelle, thank you for being here. Thank you for throwing it down and keeping it lit. Thank you for being part of our fam. Guys, she said that. Well, we do have an anonymous donation. An anonymous donation. Also, the anonymous donation is saying that they're praying for the fam. Praying for the Lit Squad. That is lovely. So can we see some double fire? Can we double up on the fire in the chat for the anonymous donators? They're also looking out for you, fam. They're also looking out for you with the prayers, with the love. Thank you, Anon Donator, for love and prayers. Now let me get some of this litness right here. Boom, 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 boom. Guys, we talk about it all the time. Prayers are powerful, and prayers, they don't hurt. They do not hurt. So absolutely feel free to pray for anyone or anything. And don't feel bad about it. Look at that. The chat's about to burn down. I need to get some of those fire lights and put them all back here. And whenever there's a throwdown, turn on the fire lights so it looks like everything's like on fire. Oh my goodness. Why haven't I thought of that sooner? I've got to do that. I've got to do that. That would be awesome. That'd be the coolest thing ever. Okay, let's get back into this list here. Randolph County Asylum. So Randolph County Asylum, it's like less than 30 minutes away from these places. So if you want to plan a paranormal excursion, then you could do so with these 4 right here. They're all real close to each other. And the Randolph County Asylum, I've only been once. I stayed the night there by myself, solo, with not a soul in sight. No one around for miles and miles. And it was more than I could handle. The only way I got through it is because the live stream was popping. There was over 100 people in the live stream, and it was like the first time in a long time that many people were on there and stayed on there for a long time. And then on the Facebook streams, I had like over 100 people watching, which was crazy because I didn't even stream on Facebook most of the time. But that's the only reason I was able to stay inside the building. Numerous times, the energy was so intense in the Randolph County Asylum that I was just like, nope, out, done, screw it. And there's a bunch of crazy evidence that I didn't even notice in real time. And if I had noticed, I would have been out of there even sooner. But Randolph County Asylum was absolutely freaky. I've got to go back there. I've only been there once. So I've been to these places multiple times, but I've only been to the Randolph County Asylum once. Next up, Octagon Hall. So me and my friend Debbie and her crew, we investigated Octagon Hall. That was my first time there. And then the next 2 times I investigated with my boy Alex. And Octagon Hall, it is worth it. Octagon Hall is similar to Poasttown in the sense that I think Octagon Hall and Poasttown, I think they're window areas. Pops Metal. Lori P, Octagon Hall is your favorite place? Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. The first time I went to Octagon Hall, the spirits just went nuts over the gateway. So I set it in the basement. So Debbie wanted me to hear what Bear was talking about. Bear's like the owner. And so she came and got me. And so I set the live stream down in the basement, filming the gateway. And I had the gateway in like the center of the basement. And the spirits just started talking like crazy. They just started talking back and forth. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. And the people in the live stream were like, I cannot believe what I'm hearing right now. And what was I going to say? They're talking about before. They loved the gateway. It was like the spirits had been waiting for it, or it was like it was no problem for them to use it. And that was the very first time I went to Octagon Hall. Candace, what's up, Candace? Tammy, what's up, Tammy? John G, the G-Man. Have I said G-Man yet? Oh, is Yvonne in the building? Spirit Stalker? She is. What's up, Yvonne? Cool. Jen Rogue. Jen in the building. So yeah, guys, Octagon Hall, definitely worth going to. So I've been there 3 times. Old South Pittsburg Hospital. So the town of Old South Pittsburg does not like me. And I guess, I don't know. I guess like when Alex and me went there, they treated us very... It was like, I don't know. It was like they hated us. It was like they absolutely hated us. But the people who run Old South Pittsburg, both times we went, have been absolutely fantastic. They've been just absolutely lovely and just amazing. And Old South Pittsburg is a lot of fun to investigate because it's massive. It's a massive abandoned hospital. Like partially abandoned. It's 4 paranormal investigations now. And we caught some of the craziest evidence last time. Direct EVP communication with the spirit in real time. Old South Pittsburg, it's definitely worth it. If you get a chance, definitely investigate Old South Pittsburg Hospital. It's in southern Tennessee. It's in South Pittsburg, Tennessee. But yeah, both times I was there, I was with Alex. And then the second time, Bonnie Bon was with us, which was really cool. And then, so next up is the battlefields. I've investigated the Perryville Battlefield and the Chickamauga Battlefield. And anyone can investigate these battlefields. You just have to go there before they close. So they close at sunset. Whenever the sun goes down, you then can be arrested for being there. So definitely skedaddle on out of there. But the Chickamauga Battlefield, what's cool about Chickamauga is the majority of the battlefield is actually on a main road. So you can, and there's spots to pull over and park. So you can investigate those portions at night. But the main portion of the Chickamauga Battlefield, where the museum center is and stuff like that, you got to be out of there by sunset. You probably have to be out of all of it by sunset. Don't listen to me. Don't only investigate during the daytime. I take everything back. Just daytime investigation for the battlefields. Perryville Battlefield was cool. Most of it seemed like residual. We did have a little girl spirit come through, and she talked to me for a couple, like a minute total. And that was the most direct communication. But the rest of it seemed like it was residual captures. But Chickamauga, we encountered some craziness at Chickamauga. At one point, Alex and me were in the car, and we were deciding on if we were going to drive to another spot of the battlefield or not. And so we decided to start doing a session in the car, and something hits my car door while we're parked in dead center of the battlefield. The road cuts right through the middle of the battlefield, and something hit my car door out of nowhere. And think about it, like we're in the middle of nowhere on this back road in the middle of this Civil War battlefield, and something, bam, hits my door. And like we look out the windows, there's nothing there. There's no animals, birds, or nothing. And we were there. So on that investigation with the Chickamauga Battlefield, we were there during like the super blood wolf moon, some kind of crazy moon. We were there, or like the double blue ultra pink moon, or so. It was some crazy moon that we were there, and the moon was massive and bright, and I think it was one of the red moons. But Chickamauga Battlefield, absolutely awesome. And then the second time I went there, Alex was supposed to meet us there, but he didn't. Joey Vitality and me investigated the woods on that battlefield. We were so tired from the Hales Bar Dam investigation, but it was still fun. It was a lot of fun. Next up, the Rohs Hotel. I've only been here once, and I've got to go back. I've got to go back to the Rohs Hotel. My goodness. So back in the day, the lady who used to run it, she was a lot more lenient and open with the booking. So it was way less expensive. It was way, way, way less expensive. And you got to stay the night there. And now they don't do it like that. Now it's like 4 times the price, and you get half the amount of time. And I get it. It's a super haunted location, and you can charge a premium for something that happens all the time. I still, but I've got to go back. And maybe I'll do a fundraiser. Maybe I'll do like a fundraiser for the Rohs Hotel. And do a group event there. Maybe we can do it that way. But the Rohs Hotel, even though it's pricey and you don't get enough time, it's still worth it. It's still worth it because of how active. So check this out. When I investigated it, I got there at like 2 in the afternoon, or maybe it was like noon. I think it was like 2 in the afternoon. And so I had the entire day. I had from 2 p.m. to midnight by myself, because MC and Nick, they didn't get there till midnight. So from 2 p.m. to midnight, I had the entire house by myself, and it was freaky. It was ultra, ultra freaky. And the Rohs Hotel was the first live stream that I did that was like, that I would call a success, where it was the first live stream where I broke like 40 people being on the live stream. And I was like, oh my God, I'm famous. And like people stayed the whole time. The live stream's like 4 hours long, and people stayed in the whole time. It was just super popping. It was so much fun. But yeah, I got to go back to the Rohs Hotel. Candace, you know about the Rohs Hotel? You know about that Rohs Hotel? But yeah, Rohs Hotel. And then RIPY Mansion. Oh, the RIPY. The RIPY. I've only been there once too, and I investigated that by myself. And I was so new and so young. I didn't even have a gateway device at the time. I had a spirit box and an EVP recorder, and I was so freaked out the entire time that I did not use the spirit box until the very end. But the EVPs, my God, I got some crazy EVPs. This was back when I still was just using an Olympus, like a 4200 or a 4100. Like that gray one that they used to use on Ghost Adventures. I got to go back to the RIPY. But yeah, it's in Western Kentucky. I can't remember what city it's in. Maybe it's in Versailles? I don't know. All right, next up, the Andrew House. I've been to the Andrew House multiple times, and this is a friend's house, so this shouldn't be on the list. But it's a house where black metal bands practiced, and they used to do some dark stuff there. And I was unaware of that when I agreed to investigate it. And the first night I investigated the Andrew house, it was like December 19th. And so it's like almost Christmas, and it's thunderstorming. It got up to like the 70s. It was like hot outside, and that's so rare for Kentucky. That is uncommon. That is not normal. And so it was thunderstorming, and on my way to the house, there was like lightning flashes, like the storm hadn't hit just yet. And I get there, and the storm starts throwing down while I'm setting up my DVR cameras. And the door in the room I was in slammed on its own. Like, that was one of the first things that happened when I got there. A lot of crazy stuff happened that night. But the lightning storm was crazy. It was a thunderstorm with a bunch of lightning. And then the second time I went, it wasn't nearly as chaotic. But both times were ultra freaky. And then I was there a third time. So I was there once, and then the second time I went there to show them some evidence that I captured. Then the third time I investigated again. And then the office building, also, this shouldn't be on the list. But then again, I had one of my most profound investigations ever at this office building. It was definitely, I think it was a demonic haunt, an active demonic haunting. Meaning, I think there is a demon actively existing in that location and just terrorizing anyone that goes in. It destroyed me. I was there for like what, an hour or 3 hours total? I think it was there for 3 hours, and it felt like I'd been there for days. And by the time I got home, my back had gone out, and I felt like I was more drained than drained should be. And it's a constant bombardment. It makes you feel like heavier and heavier and heavier. That place is wild. But yeah, Revenant Acres. All right, so Revenant Acres is gone. It's gone. So it should be gone from the list too, I guess. But Revenant Acres, that's where the whole 7 thing might have originated. And I don't even know what to say about Revenant Acres. I've been there 3 times. And it's terrible, and I'm glad it's gone. No, I'm kidding. I've had some weird experiences at Revenant Acres. So let's just keep going. This next one I have listed is the Haunted Jesse James Hotel Room. That's not the name of it. It's a hotel in Western Kentucky that has a Jesse James room. And I actually got a lot of evidence at this hotel. I didn't expect, like, whenever I see hotels using, like, old celebrities, it's, like, gimmicky. But I did get a lot of evidence at this hotel, and I had some killer REM pod activity, which is not as common as it used to be. But also, okay, so I've only been there once. Or no, did I go there twice? No, just once. I can't remember what it's called. It's called something. All right, next, Mom's Attic. So, active, but shouldn't be on the list. Ohio Castle. I cannot remember the name. I've only been there once. I can't remember the name of it. It's a castle in Ohio, and it's known for its frogman sightings. All right, there was a frogman sighting back in the day. But yeah, it's pretty cool. You can rent it out and investigate it. Now, the Wheeldon Manor. The Wheeldon Manor, it's by Bowling Green. Wheeldon Manor was a trip. It is big. It is dark. It is grungy. It's a grungy location. And it was the first time, so I know this has been done before in the paranormal field or whatever, but it was the first time I'd played cards with spirits. And we played blackjack with spirits for like over half an hour, maybe 45 minutes straight. We were playing blackjack with spirits. And we were using the gateway for the spirits to talk. So we'd line up the cards, and we put the cards in a way to where the spirits could see them, but we couldn't. I think we had them on the edge of the table or something. And the spirits would go, hit or stay. They would say hit or stay on the gateway. And during this session, that's when they said Vanessa. They said Vanessa super clear. And I was like, whoa. I was like, do you want to, because I brought Vanessa, the haunted doll. I brought her with me. And I was like, do you want me to bring Vanessa in here? And it goes, bring Vanessa. Like crystal clear, crystal freaking clear. So we brought Vanessa in there, of course. And yeah, Wheeldon Manor was nuts. It's huge. It's massive. Also, like the owner was like, "Hey, I've got a buddy coming, and he wants to investigate with us." And his buddy was a cop. He was a freaking cop. So I was like, "Oh crap!" I was not expecting it to be a cop. And since he was a cop in uniform, he couldn't be on camera. But he could talk on camera, but he couldn't. His face couldn't be shown on camera. But we investigated with him, and it was cool. But I dressed a lot differently back then, and I could tell that cop was like, I just felt the heat of his glare. He was like, "This guy's a hoodlum. This guy's a freaking hoodlum." That's how he's looking at me. And he might not be wrong. He might not, but it was it was intense. I didn't know he was going to be a freaking cop. But yeah, so we investigated with him. It was cool. No, he was super cool. He was really into the paranormal, which really helped with the investigating. And he was familiar with the spirits there, which was cool too. But yeah, Wheeldon Manor. Wheeldon Manor. Played a game of blackjack with spirits there. That was awesome. This next list are like these right here were with Alex. Sloss Furnace. That was pretty cool. Alex and me literally just walked in. There were like people working. Like the furnace is still used. Like they still use it to like make stuff or work on stuff or whatever. Or burn stuff. But so we just walked in and started investigating. And don't do that, by the way. I'm sure that's not what you're supposed to do. But Alex was just like, let's go. Let's go. And I was like, all right, let's go. And we investigated for a while. Did we live stream that? I think we live streamed it. But I think the signal kept... Yeah, my phone kept messing up. My phone kept disconnecting. Oh, yeah, Candace. That's right. Loveland Castle. That's the Ohio castle. Where's that? Loveland Castle. Loveland Castle. Yep, that's it. Alright, so yeah, Alex and me investigated Sloss Furnace. And then Bass Cemetery. So now they have a freaking closed gate. But Bass Cemetery is my favorite cemetery I've ever been to. And I've been to a handful. Even that 1700 cemetery doesn't bat an eye to the Bass Cemetery. Well, it does. The 1700 cemetery was cool. But Bass Cemetery feels like a haunted location. It doesn't feel like a normal cemetery. Most cemeteries, to me, feel like graves. It feels like a place you pay your respects, you be quiet, and you show love and kindness, and you get out. But Bass Cemetery felt like a location. And it was awesome. Alex and me had a great time investigating Bass Cemetery. It was really cool. And I would love to go back. They have a freaking gate up now, though, like a closed gate on it. But yeah, Bass Cemetery. And then we investigated some abandoned buildings, and I cannot remember the name. So we'll just leave that at that. And then Ashmore Estates. So Ashmore Estates is a place you can rent to investigate. I was investigating with the Ghost Brothers, and I really didn't feel a whole lot there. I don't know if it was a bad night. On the way there, I had a freaking panic attack, and I had to pull over. So that might have like threw my whole day off. And it was weird because it's not like a normal thing for me. So I was like really freaking out, like what the hell's wrong? And so that kind of turned my day upside down. But investigating there was still fun. And we did get some communication. But I don't know. I'm pretty spoiled with like Poasttown and Benton Farms and this house being as active as it is. I'm pretty spoiled when it comes to paranormal activity. So Ashmore Estates didn't like... I didn't get a chance to really feel anything significant there. But that might have been because it was a group event, like with the Ghost Brothers. I don't know. It was still fun. We still had a really good time. It was still a lot of fun. Candace, you've been to Ashmore many times and don't feel as very active. It might not be very active. It might be a residual type activity. I will say there was one room. There was one room on the second floor, first or second floor, and we did get some really cool SLS and gateway activity in. There was one room we got some good activity in. Yeah, Ashmore Estates, it's still worth it. I would say it's still worth to investigate because there's just not enough haunted locations. So definitely still check it out. Then the Villisca Axe Murder House. That was a collaboration. At the time, that was the furthest I'd ever driven for a location. Now it's been beat a couple times, but Villisca Axe Murder House. Again, a location that I expected more from, and we didn't get a whole. There wasn't like any super big moments. There was a couple of big moments, there was a couple of moments, but there was no. It felt like they had cleansed. It felt like they had cleansed the house. It felt like the house had recently been completely cleansed, and we did get some activity, but again, it could have been residual. So Villisca Murder House, still worth investigating for the history and for that potential chance that something might pop off. Next up, the Haunted Tunnel. I cannot remember where this was. This was when Joey, Vitality, Alex, and me were teaming up. And I don't remember the name of it. If Joey Vitality's watching, Joe, if you're watching, what was the name of that tunnel we investigated? And then my friend Curtis's house. That was a lot of fun. That was recently. And then there was a farm I investigated with Nick and MC. I can't remember the name. But there was a Grim Reaper sighting at the farm. So we went and investigated. Randy Paranormal. Randy, thank you for being here. So this is my list of locations that most of them you can actually go and investigate legally. Like you can rent out the place for the night and investigate. And Poasttown, I'd recommend Poasttown all day. Like Poasttown Elementary School, the absolute craziest things have happened to me there. Especially the poltergeist activity, like stuff moving on its own, the spirit box being launched at me, like launched with force, all the banging on the lockers and doors. And the last time I went with something slammed against something there. And then when I walked through that hall to go find what it was, that weird, I still don't know how to describe it correctly. But I think it's what Daryl went through too. Daryl told me about a time where he was walking through the hall and it felt like he walked through magnetic fields like pushing against each other. Like when magnets push against each other. And I think it's the same experience, but for me it was just like way overwhelming and super intense. But Poasttown Elementary is absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. If I had to pick one location to recommend to you, it'd be Poasttown. But all of these are like, Rohs Hotel is really good too though. Rohs Hotel is up there. RIPY Mansion, that was a lot of fun. That's a Scooby-Doo type mansion. Like it just looks like one of the houses that would be in a Scooby-Doo episode. And the EVPs I got were crystal clear, and I didn't notice them till later. Revenant Acres, God bless. Wheeldon Manor, that place is just massive. Bass Cemetery. Oh yeah, the Conjuring House, that place was a lot of fun. Hales Bar Dam. Thornhaven Manor. I need to go back to Thornhaven because what Alex and me experienced at Thornhaven was not usual. It was not typical. Oh yeah, and I did say I was going to show you all the Gill House footage, some of the Gill House footage. I really hope YouTube doesn't... You know what? I probably shouldn't. YouTube's been taking my streams down left and right every time I show anything. Oh, Denise, I see what you're talking. Denise says, I thought if you were the worst person in life, then you will be that same bad person like a killer in the afterlife. Interesting. So, Denise, that's possible, especially if the spirit doesn't move on. So, my theory would be like, let's say there is like a killer and he dies and he doesn't want to go, he doesn't want to face any kind of judgment or anything. So, he clings his spirit to this realm, either to something here or just to the realm in general. And I would easily see him retaining that same mentality, that same terrible mentality. I think the only way that you would change from that is if you go through the transition of crossing over and having your energy go to the next step, go to the next plane, the next void, the next realm. That'd probably be the only way it would change. That spirit in the attic, so the spirit I made contact with at Mom's attic, that spirit, I asked, why don't you leave? Why don't you go to the light? And he said, because I'll go to hell. So that spirit was staying there because it was afraid of going to hell. And I'm sure that's probably a lot of spirits' reasoning for staying behind, is they don't want to go to hell. She was asking about demonic hauntings. So, I do think there are demons, and I think demons can turn spirits into dark spirits. And I think dark spirits can cause some confusion on what's demonic and what's not. I need to stop leaning on that. It's probably making a bunch of noise. But yeah, and so here's the list of locations that you all had suggested. So, Bobby Mackey's, Hinsdale House, Waverly Hills, Goatman's Bridge, Thomas House Hotel in Tennessee, Eastern State Penitentiary, West Virginia Penitentiary, Knickerbocker Hotel in Detroit. Are there any other locations that y'all can think of? I can think of, there's a hospital in Texas. Abilene Hospital, or y'all know what I'm talking about? Can you think of it? Can you recall? Tabitha, the Point Lookout Lighthouse in Maryland. Point Lookout Lighthouse, Maryland. Oh, there's a location. Oh my goodness. Oh, let me get on Instagram real quick and see if I can find it. There's a couple that I follow on Instagram that I want to go to. There's one that's like the Sweet Valley. The Sweet Valley Springs. And then there's a haunted McIntyre Manor or something like that. Why is my keyboard not coming up? McIntyre Villa. The haunted McIntyre Villa. I was almost going to fly my team out there to investigate it because it's just so crazy. Haunted McIntyre Villa. And it's in Kansas. 1301 Kansas City, or Kansas Avenue. Atchison, Kansas. I want to go there like a lot. I want to go there a whole lot. And then the other one is the Sweet Valley Springs or something. Sweet Springs Sanitarium. I want to check that out. Also, where's that sanitarium? There's another sanitarium in the West Virginia area. What's the sanitarium? Oh yeah, Yvonne, you're right. Yorktown Hospital. That's what I was thinking of in Texas. Candace, the Farrar School. Is it a location that allows for like overnight paranormal investigations? Oh yeah, Madison Seminary, obviously. I've got to check that place out. Another good one. So guys, what are some haunted locations that you know of? The Winchester Mansion, that would be incredible. Was that Summer that suggested that? Summer, it's good to see you, and thank you for the lit suggestion. Very lit suggestion. The Farrar School, it does? Okay, cool. Farrar School. Carl Baker, I see you. So it's in Chicago or New York or something like that. But yeah, guys, what's the sanitarium? It's in like West Virginia, I think. I think they filmed in, yeah, St. Albans. It's in Virginia, regular Virginia. Okay, St. Albans. That's right. That's what I was thinking of. Who said that? The real K-Pup Adventures. K-Pup! Thank you. You nailed it. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking of. Thank you so much, K-Pup. That was on point. On point and on time. K-Pup for the win. Alcatraz would be amazing. Princess Mel, are you directing me to go to Alcatraz and investigate? If you say so, then I will. Alcatraz. My dad would go on that one. He couldn't pass that up. He talks about Alcatraz all the time. Armin, you said the Shanley Hotel in New York? Armin, are you talking about the... Is it Shanley? Shanley? Shanley Hotel in New York? Sounds interesting. It reminds me of the Stanley Hotel in Colorado, I think. I still haven't been there either. Which I need to go to. K-Pup, yes. St. Albans in Virginia. Princess Mel says, it's a little far, but would be so worth it. A little far, as in all the way across the country. It's like the furthest location that we've talked about so far. It's a little far. But no, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I've got to hit all these locations. I got to hit all of them, fam. New Orleans? I've got to go to New Orleans. I'd love to. Isn't there a voodoo priestess down there? Oh yeah, Bloody Mary. Doesn't she have a house? Bloody Mary's house. Oh yeah, the Queen Mary. That's that ship, isn't it? Oh yeah, there was a place I was going to go to by Pittsburgh. What was it called? They didn't allow filming at group events. It's like, then what's the point? And they're like, just use audio recorders. It's like, are you kidding me? But I was going to go there. Candace, the Dauphine Orleans. Is that right? I definitely got to go to Bobby Mackey's. Also, what about Florida? What are some haunted locations in Florida? What are some haunted locations in Florida? Can you tell me? Savannah, Georgia. Oh yeah, Tabitha, isn't oh crap. What's the name of that place in Savannah? Ghost Adventures did an episode there back in the day, back in the old school Ghost Adventures. I miss the old school Ghost Adventures. They were a lot more. It was really like 3 boys going and investigating these haunted locations. Now it's like a TV show. But I get it. Like, and to be fair, the new episodes are like movies almost. They're very cinematic, very well done, very high quality. But the old ones were almost like a vlog of them like traveling and going and interacting and investigating. St. Augustine Lighthouse, that'd be cool. It popped up in the chat a whole bunch all of a sudden. Wheeldon Manor, Gin Rogue, is that do you know if that's a place that investigators are able to like rent out or whatever? Wheeldon Manor, that sounds crazy. Yeah, Princess Mel, I agree. The old Ghost Adventures episodes, like even though Zach was young and hard-headed, more hard-headed, it was adventurous. That's what it was. The old episodes of Ghost Adventures are much more adventurous. There's like a adventure vibe to them. And in the new ones, it's much more sanitized. In the new episodes, it's much more cinematic, sanitized. All right, wait. Old Jail in St. Augustine. Old City Jail in Charleston, South Carolina. The Maystringer House, I've heard of that. Maystringer House. I'm missing one here. Oh, the Pirates House in Savannah. That sounds fun. Savannah. Oh yeah, the freaking the Wild West towns. I really would love to investigate out there, like the Goldfield Hotel and that whole town. What town is that in? Virginia City, Nevada? All of Virginia City. Skinwalker Ranch area. Tombstone, Arizona. Moon River Brewing Company, James 745 Riddle. That's what I was thinking of. That's in Savannah, Georgia, isn't it? Moon River Brewing Company. I think that's Savannah, Georgia. Gettysburg, yeah. So I've been to Perryville and Chickamauga. It would only make sense if I finished out the trifecta and hit up Gettysburg. Ooh, I just got like chilled thinking about Gettysburg. Surely, I think I could incite some activity. Candace says, "Go back to the Monroe House." No. Joey Vitality has invited me to the Monroe House like 10 times since the last time I've been back, and I've had to say no every time. Because like the Monroe House, it's not fun. It's not fun. It's too intense, and it's like my basement but times 10. And I already can't stand my basement as it is. And the Monroe House is way intense. It's way intense. Oh, someone said something here. Someone says Sally House. I would love to investigate the Sally House. Oh, I just got freaked out saying that. Oh, the Sally House. All right, so here's the deal. Any of the locations that I've already been to before, I would have to go with another person. I would have to have someone with me, even if they didn't investigate, even if they solely just were like at a nerve center, a control center, a command center, and just watching the live stream or something. But I'd have to have someone there with me. And for these new locations, I might be able to do them solo just because of the adrenaline and the excitement, but it would still be beneficial to have someone there with me. You know how like nearly impossible it is to find someone who can like put down everything for 3 to 4 days at a time, minimum, to go traveling and investigating. It's so hard. It's so freaking hard. At best, you can like maybe get someone to go like 2 days, and that includes getting back. But it's really difficult. It's really difficult. And if I was going to do these, I'd be traveling for weeks at a time, which I love. I love being on the road. I love being on the road traveling for weeks at a time. But I would have to have someone at each location, which wouldn't be that hard. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. I'm sure we'd be able to make that happen. Man, I've got to get out west. I'm very thankful that YouTube hasn't taken down this stream, so thank you, YouTube. Thank you for being nice this time. And here's the thing. I haven't shown any of my footage, so maybe that is the key. Maybe that really is the key. They've taken down like 4 of my last live streams. Yeah, I gotta go out west. I've gotta go out west. I gotta hit up the UK. Man, I kept thinking. I was thinking this was a Saturday stream. It's not. I have a Patreon stream coming up. Lynn Kingery. What's up, Lynn? The Witch's Castle. That actually sounds pretty interesting. The Witch's Castle. Where is that? If you don't mind me asking. And Lynn, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Princess Mel, UK is one of your dreams? Me too. I gotta get over there and check out some locations. Witch's Castle in Portland, Oregon. That would be a lovely excuse to go to Portland, Oregon. But yeah, this is the first I'm hearing of it. I bet if it's called the Witch's Castle, it's probably pretty lit. It's probably pretty lit. Sandy Wolf's in the building. Hey, Sandy. What are you doing sneaking in here? Sneaking on in here. Oh, yeah. So Sandy said we should have a meetup at Gettysburg. That would be awesome. Yeah, an epic fan meetup in Gettysburg would be ultra lit. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Cheryl asks, have you ever heard of Van Horn Mansion in Burt, New York? I haven't. Is it like a location? Like you can rent it out for the night location? Oh yeah, someone's talking about Malvern. I've heard it. Isn't there a Malvern Manor? Isn't that a place? Van Horn Mansion, Burt, New York. Traveling down to Burt, New York. Burt. Burt. Just say that out loud, y'all. It's like burp, but with a T. With a T. Burt. I'm going down. Oh, I put a Y on it. Bertie. Going down to Bertie, New York. Old Burtsville. Going down to Burtsville. Candace, Malvern Manor's in Iowa. I've been to Iowa. Yeah, if we all dressed up in like period clothing from that time frame, like soldier clothes and like just old, like the ladies could be decked out in old like dresses, 1800s dresses, and the dudes could have either soldier gear or just like some old raggedy gear. Oh my goodness, guys. All right, so if in between now and the Patreon, check out there's these people online that are taking old film from the 1800s and the early 1900s. So it's like film, which is like it looks like video, but it's technically film of people from cities in the 1800s, like Paris, France, and New York. And what they do is they upscale it to 4K. they colorize it, so they color the footage, and then they have a sound designer add in noises to match what's going on in the picture. And it is a trip. It's a freaking trip. So you're literally watching a scene from the 1800s happen, and you're experiencing the scene. And when people walk past the camera, they look back at you like, whoa, what is this? Just like you're looking at them like, whoa, what is this? It is freaky. It is freaky deaky. And maybe I'm showing my age here by being so impressed with it. But check it out. In between this stream and the Patreon, check out, I don't even know what you would look up. Type in like 1800s 4K footage, and it should bring it up. The craziest one is the New York one. That one is not. The Paris, France one is also pretty wild. But yeah, I've just discovered them, and they're an absolute trip. It's like literally looking into the past. Oh yeah, Dale Bailey, the 1858 Garnet Hotel. That's run by Justin, isn't it? I used to talk to Justin a lot back in the day. Alright guys, so I'm going to get off here and get ready for the Patreon stream. Yeah. So let me get a round of shout-outs in here. Sandy Wolflet, Anonymous Jane, Ray the Fam, Candace, Jen Rogue, Dale Bailey, Cheryl in the building. Thank you all for being here. Lynn Kingery in the building. James 745 Riddle, the man, the legend, James 745 is in the building. That's what's up. Lori Lit Lolo, Summer Lit Girl, Tim Litfield, it's always good to see you, my man. Mittens in the building. Mary C, Mary Callahan. Mary, I totally missed you coming in. Oh my goodness, Mary, are you still here? Mary C in the building. Guys, Mary C always had the absolute best questions for the Q&As. Like, she always made the Q&As super interesting. Tabitha Pal, Tabitha, what's good, Tabitha? Thank you for being here as well. Bam, I know this one was a little different. There's only so many times. Tammy, I see you, Tammy. There's only so many times we can hit the basement back to back in a row. I'm gonna try and hopefully with Pops' help, maybe we can reorganize the basement and make it interesting. Maybe hit the garage or something. I don't know. But Cheryl, the Patreon's going to be cool. We're going to do some digital tarot readings, and I'm going to analyze them for you. And we're also going to look at some HD footage of Alex and me that hasn't been seen before. And it should be a lot of fun. And if we start feeling any weird activity... Oh, yeah! So, Patreon members, if we have enough time, I had some crazy dreams this last night, and one of them involved our boy Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg was in my dream, straight hanging out with your boy. And, yeah, I'll talk about that on the Patreon, too. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Tabitha, I will add you to the Patreon group. We got to be friends on Facebook. Well, we don't have to be, but it just makes it a lot easier for me to add you to the group. Alright, I love you guys. Richie, the Patreon is going to be lit. I promise. I'm going to make it ultra lit. It's going to be ultra lit. Oh yeah, the Patreon link. So I stopped putting it in the description thinking maybe YouTube would like me better. But YouTube and me. I should make a book called YouTube and You. How to handle the heartbreak and heartache. But yeah, guys, come on over to the Patreon. Join the stream. It'll be lit. The Patreon is like the foundation, the building blocks of what allows us to do this week in and week out. Without the Patreon, we would not be able to do this. Like, we would not be... Well, I take that back. Without the Patreon, we wouldn't be able to do this as much. It would be far less. It'd probably be whatever days that we could manage. But yeah, so the Patreon is the foundation for everything. Thank you, Patreon members, for making it happen. And guys, I'm getting off here, getting ready for the Patreon. It'll start in about 30 minutes. I love y'all. Stay awesome, stay tuned, stay lit, stay Stay epic, guys. I will see you all Saturday. And what am I going to do for evidence review if YouTube just keeps taking them down? What am I going to do? Maybe I'll bust out the old hard drive and we'll go over some unseen footage. That way YouTube can't do nothing. Alright, love you guys. Peace, fam. That's the peace sign. Peace. Love you, fam. Lori lit Lowe. I see you, Lori. I see you.